there were rumors couple of months ago, I think in the month of November, December, I people starting to some of the tweets I saw on Twitter, they started to talk about how ChatGPT and rolling secretly testing ads in ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT had to basically someone from OpenAI had to come and spoke out that we are not testing still ads. Uh, it's like that they did not dismiss you about it, that they will never roll out ads or even simultaneous, you know. uh, you can go back last year and watch their even own podcast. I think Sam Altman was there. The first podcast episode they did. If you don't know, OpenAI has their own YouTube channel where they also do, apart from just announcements, they also do podcast. It is uh, it is a podcast basically about AI and different topics. And I think for the first episode, Sam was there, and he talked about kind of an ads in ChatGPT where he was asked about it, you know. And he it's not that he was dismissive about it, like, yeah, we are never going to roll out ads, or we are never going to talk or we are never going to insert ads, you know. It was kind of a last resort for them, you know. You might find a clip here and there that Sam Altman talking about it, but if you want to go and check out, like, even in the people in the comments section of that episode were not happy about the ads rolling out in ChatGPT. But yeah, so from the official confirmation from the blog post that OpenAI released, basically, that free and go plan users will have ads. So basically, free users, if you are a free user, which I am, so I will get ads, which probably will be taking time because the ads will be rolling out in the US first. But free users and Go users. So Go is a kind of an, again, kind of an, I will say, subscription plan that is $8, at least in the US. It is kind of in their cheapest plans if you want to buy. And in that $8 you will get all models, but you will also now will get ads in it, which is, again, a lot of companies have started doing that, which is not kind of an, I will say, fair for the customers or consumers. Like, if I am paying for something to watch specifically, I don't want ads in you know, especially paying so much higher price like Amazon started it, you know. Like, we pay kind of an, like, at least here in India the plan is kind of an 1500 rupees here in India. And we now, even in that plan, that is one of the that is it was one of the most highest plan, and then we have to pay extra, like, kind of an 300 rupees if you want to remove the ads. So yeah, it is, Amazon has started it since last year for at least streaming. At least glad that Netflix hasn't started, at least in India. I think Netflix is testing out ads, and it's still there on their lower plans in US, as far as I know. So for ChatGPT, free users and Go plan users uh, will be getting ads. If you are in US, that then the price of the Go plan is $8, which I usually don't know that kind of a plan, which is also interesting that they gave that plan, especially the Go plan, the paid plan, to free for everyone for kind of a year, which makes sense now because that plan is in the ad, kind of an, which is also that same plan is in the ad, kind of an. So yeah, no point in getting into that, but yeah, we will talk about much about ads, even while paying, why we are getting ads. But yeah, so yeah, free and Go users, then they will be started, like I said, they will be start testing ads in upcoming next week, in specifically US first. So you might kind of see ads in the form of sponsored, labeled, which can be about whole product placement there, depending upon what you are. It will be clearly mentioned, at least clearly mentioned in there, at least from the visuals they have given. At least for now, you can see here on the screen those kind of visuals of what I'm trying to talk about here. But yeah, so the ad, whatever the ads they will be showing, it will be labeled as sponsor. So yeah, apart from this to confirmation, there is not much from their side. Like, um, we need to at least know, basically, because it is in the first of all testing phase, uh, especially in the US. So I don't think it has still started it, because if it would have started, I would have known, at least from someone would have posted about it, talked about it. But it, at least for now, it is not. uh, Now, it is not kind of an surprising they are going into ad model. It is kind of an the good economic model, which I actually love. It's not that I hate ad models. YouTube has its own ad model, but I'm not paying for it. But like, there are different aspects of kind of an ad. So there are ads where, like I said, platform, like you can use platforms like YouTube for free. You just need an internet connection and Google account. You can go and read that. You can go and watch the specific kind of an content that creators are making, like this what you are watching on YouTube. Companies like media companies, that they upload on YouTube, which are now not just creator videos, but now it is turned out to be in the music sector. Also the podcast that you are seeing this, but not just 10-20 minutes of video, or even literal whole movies are available on YouTube. So yeah, it is kind of a broad aspect, and you don't, majority of the videos, like, mostly you don't have to pay for it. It's ad based, which kind of and works. That's why YouTube has this global user base all around the world, and that's why the ad plan works for it. They also have the premium plans. Basically, you pay for the subscription, remove all the ads, basically. And after removing all the ads, you not just get a ad free experience, but it is kind of an, I will say, a good subscription plan, because you, like, YouTube is kind of a broad spectrum. Like, you are not toned down to a specific genre of watching. Like, you can find many of the videos of, if you are into that, watching too much kind of in YouTube videos. But and you also get YouTube music subscription, which is great in that is included. So yeah, that is also one of the ad models I love. I actually like kind of an ad model. I don't mind watching ads, because I know that the whatever the creators I'm watching, let's say, the creators I'm subscribed to, especially whatever the videos I'm watching, it is kind of a revenue split model. So that's there. So as a creator, it is a really great platform there. And like, apart from that, there are also ad models where you are paying for the subscription, but you are still getting ads. So one of those things are kind of an, let's say, your live TV channels. You are paying for specific channels that you watch, sometimes, but they are not totally ad free. You are still seeing ads in between those. Like, you can talk about soap operas, like 20-30 minutes episodes, and in that 30-minute episode, basically 10, like 5 to 6 minutes are just ads. So basically they make 20 minutes of episode, and 10 minutes of the whole 30-minute show is kind of an ad. So yeah, it's not new that you are paying for something and you are still seeing ad in it. Now, the thing is, the difference between why we hate ad subscriptions, right, at least for now, at least why I hate it, because the price for what I'm paying and what I'm, like, basically, the pricing, what specifically what I'm paying, and even after that paying, if even after I'm getting that subscription, paying those services that I want to watch, if I still have to see ads specifically in that again, then what's the point? That amount of money, like, basically what it is I feel like, with TV channels, it was kind of, and you can let go, is because they are two kind of cheap channels. They are not kind of a big kind of a deal, like 15 rupees, 20 rupees kind of channels are there out right now. So you don't have to kind of let's say, kind of an, I will say, buy in a like high price. And majority of the time, like, those channels are so much so low price that you get eventually free in one or other subscription. But as the subscription prices are rising, especially for the streaming services, it has become kind of an frustrating, and not just that, and then even including ad in it. So it is kind of a model that people actually don't like it, you know. So including me, kind of and like pay for it and still seeing ads. It is one of those things. So that is why, like I said, the go plan what chat gpt introduced, which they have given for free for majority of the people all around the world for 1 year, does not matter. Like it is ultimately free because I am basically watching ad and seeing ads in those interactions whatever I'm seeing. But the major problems apart from the media one, basically, because the major problem here on ChatGPT is going to be is how authentic it is going to be in terms of answering it. Like, yeah, they will definitely say OpenAI, from their official statement that I have read on their blog post, they are saying that the blog, basically the ChatGPT will still give objectively the best answers for you. The ads will not influence it, but we know how it turns out to be. The ad market is so much so bigger, and as many as people, as major as people will get into the user base of ChatGPT, like more than 100 million users are already there. As much as user base will increase, especially for free account, the revenue model just grows and grows. You know, if it founds effective, the ad marketing agencies that playing ads or show giving ads in a chat gpt, in a like in that chatbot, and they are seeing high returns, the ad market just grows there. That's why YouTube is there, because high attention spam ads, basically. That's why it is kind of an holy grail for majority of the companies ads to show there. So if ChatGPT just starts get paying more and more, especially for, like, if OpenAI started getting paying more and more in terms of ad revenue, how am I supposed to see that it is not getting influenced by the ad market? Giving kind of an uh, less controversial kind of an answer, not giving objectively best answer for towards you. Like those are kind of an concerns that we always have when it comes to ad model. Or like the it is influenced. The ad model does influence not just the product but also the media, even in the media industry. You might have seen, even in the movies, even in the shows, or even most probably in YouTube videos that you see nowadays. Like ad market, basically, or even like the companies who wants to collaborate with YouTubers, they have their own kind of and conditions. Now some people agree, some people don't, but there is some kind of influence there. So I will not just assume that ChatGPT will not get influence, especially with the ad market that they are entering right now. But it is kind of an, like I said, last resort for them, the ad market. The reason why the last resort we are saying, because we are also hearing some kind of an rumors since last 2 weeks, at least I am on the internet. It is going that the OpenAI is burning too much amount of cash, and they are kind of an getting low, and Sam Altman is going to Middle East for getting much more funding to his company. Now now, when and even if, let's say, they were not even in the burning money, even if they were not even in the condition of, they are like, they are not even critical in terms of, like I said, let's just assume that ChatGPT, OpenAI is, their money is good, they have good amount of money. But the thing is, you can just already see by their revenue model that the amount of, like I said, we always talk about, the investments does not justify the revenue amount that it is output. The input is not as comparable to what is going out in terms of profit for the company and for the investors. So going down to the ad model is kind of a, let's say, is definitely a desperate move. Now, it's not that I feel like ChatGPT is the only one, that OpenAI will not be the only one entering into this market. As we know that these models are expensive, they need specifically to have kind of a revenue model that specifically make sure that they are running these models, getting output as much as possible. Because what happened with ChatGPT is because they scaled at a too much of a large scale at once. Since especially last 2 years, what is happening with them, especially last year, what the amount of deals they made with, again, with Microsoft, with Oracle, with like the amount of deals of billions of dollars of deal, the company is just wide openly spread so much in terms of investment, that the problem is now that in next 1 or 2 years they need to make sure they have kind of a sustaining model, especially in terms of financial wise. Then if not, if they were not able to do that, there are other companies, specifically giants out there, that is Google, uh, Microsoft is also there, because Microsoft is just basically trying to get kind of an like a trying to get extract those kind of an profits from OpenAI basically, and using getting basically profiting from OpenAI whatever it is, uh, because they have kind of a contract like that we have talked before. But Microsoft, Google is there, Perplexity is there, Claude is there. Then we have, apart from that, XAI, Elon Musk, which has a lot of money, for himself to even burn in this. So there are a lot of other competition that will be entering in this industry, especially this year too. So it is going to be much more tougher and tougher for OpenAI. So getting into this ad industry is definitely a desperate move from their side, but it does not mean that others will not enter this ad model. I can definitely see in next couple of months in Google I/O, Google will be entering in this ad model, because they are one of the most, not just big company in, at least out right now, because not just that Gemini's model is good, but the thing is they have everything, but they have also hand in the search model, basically what it was before internet, before coming what internet was before these chatbots, AI chatbots, and what internet is after that. So they have their hands on both of the sides. So Google needs to basically figure out if they are not getting kind of an, let's say, uh, they need to kind of find an economic model for both of them, to make sure that they are both are alive at the same time, you can see. Now OpenAI has also talked about how the ads will work basically. The stage that they are rolling out right now is, they, like I talked about, we have talked about at the start, they, like I said, the ad will be at least labeled as sponsored. So there is ads to help those advertisers. Whenever you click on those ads, you will not get redirected to their website, but you can ask questions about that specific ad you are getting, if you want to buy their product. And if you want to buy their product, then you can buy without even leaving ChatGPT, they talked about. So basically, like, again, coming back to the point of making everything one at one place, that majority of the apps are working on, is like they don't want you to get out of the app specifically, even if even if it making your app basically a shopping center, that majority of the are doing. uh, so it is kind of an that scenario that they're talking about, where uh, buying within the apps, you don't have to go out with any other external links uh, that they talked about in the blog post. That whole blog post will be linked out in the below description. You can go check it out if you want to, in the show notes below down in the description. So yeah, so I think that's it, at least for now. The ad model is kind of an, like I again said, it is a tricky model. uh, and there is always, again, kind of an not a good discourse around AI, and specifically the answers you get from it. And I think I will make a video, or specifically I definitely we will talk about in the podcast, but I will also make a video but about the amount of time that I have gotten literally kind of a wrong answers from AI. Even if I am using latest answers for specifically so many kind of, and like I said, simple questions, and it definitely hallucinates for it definitely AI definitely hallucinates, and we know that. But and it's not there, it's not that the AI companies are disagreeing with it, but even at the stage we are right now with improved models with Gemini 3 that I use, or even ChatGPT 5 we use especially, uh, it gets hallucinates, it starts to have its own fatigue that we have talked couple of episodes ago, how AI can also have a fatigue on its own with all the information and memorization of before. And it does happen a lot. So there is always that problem, and now they are including ad model in it, where let's say if you start asking questions regarding shopping, where you start regarding question against like products, is that, are they going to give, like I said, like they said in the blog from OpenAI statement, that is it going to be objective fine? I don't think so, you know and it is kind of an the only difference that OpenAI, like this chatbot, and we have talked about it before, is the only difference this chatbots and what Google search was before. But basically the internet before chat AI chatbots and after AI chatbots is that the access of information has become again really easy, like how internet was. But it did not make people any kind of, and let's say, smarter, or not even smarter, but even if they have information, they just don't believe in it. Like, what I mean by that is, even if you have world of information, all world's information, everything news in this one kind of a smartphone you have, people chose to believe what they chose to believe, and how algorithmic and how targeted ads, how about how even nowadays social media has become algorithmic, because they need to have kind of an attention, like, uh, to keep you attention, kind of you are to keep your attention in, like, in that app. They don't want you to go out, specifically. A lot of people do with their algorithm, because the majority of the time you stay inside their apps, there you spend it, you watch ads, they make generate not just data, but they also profit over ads. This might become that, like, OpenAI's ChatGPT, or even any other ChatGPT who start giving out ads, it might show up that, like, it might get algorithmic in future, where the answers you are getting right now from ChatGPT, or the not just answers, but the products you are getting, like, they are specifically targeted towards you, to keep you inside that ChatGPT app, so you don't have to kind of an so you don't have to kind of and go out from the app, so the companies make money. That's how YouTube algorithm works. But the difference between YouTube algorithm is, uh, not difference, but the difference between what you do on YouTube and what you do on ChatGPT totally different. Like, you are expecting from ChatGPT to kind of and have, and let's say if you are doing research regarding something, especially let's say for basic products, finding, like, you are clicking a picture, asking question about a product, is it a good or not, is it aligning to its own thoughts and own values. And we have talked about AI values and their own, and they have their own firm decision, no matter what I think about that product, what I think about that person. AI need to have its own kind of thought process. If, let's say, it becomes more of a, like I said, algorithmic, what YouTube is basically, what YouTube does is, let's say, in terms of politics, if I start watching more of a right winning content, or left wing content, or specific to specific creator kind of an content, or let's say specific genre type of content, YouTube basically gives you that in short form or even long form, you know. And it you kind of an are in a then a bubble rather than exploring the whole outer shell of that bubble, you know. Same might happen even with these AI chatbots, that you might get like they might create a bubble inside for you specifically, and that you are happily living in that bubble to just make sure they are getting profit over it rather than giving you objectively good answers. And like I said, and you are assuming that it is giving you the best answer possible, but it might be under the influence of the ads that the companies are paying them. So you know, like, there are a lot of factors in it, so there needs to be not just transparency in it, which I don't think that OpenAI will give that much. Like I talked about even in the health episode, that is the last one, that how OpenAI is not transparent about the information, what kind of information that we are getting regarding health on ChatGPT is where they are getting that information from. I like, even if 60,000 what they talked about physicians, that the answer is curated from them, does not make that information legit. We need information from where it is getting. So what government website is it, even government approved information what that we are getting, even the data I am saying to, let's say you attach your health specifically scans, doctor or doctor receipts, basically whatever it is, whatever the condition you are, is it even safe to them? We don't know. It is like they are new, and that kind of, and making sure that trust is there is hard for at least OpenAI, you know. If it was different company than OpenAI, let's say any new company, at least there is kind of a trust, because at least they are something new than what people don't have a trust on OpenAI and the other giants, you know, like even Google. But at least in terms of trustness, OpenAI is not up there. It is, I think, at the bottom last, you know, when it comes to that. So I feel like I said, they were not transparent about even the health aspect that I talked about, that we need to know that information. Like, where is the information that you are giving me regarding this specific uh, disease I talked about, specific conditions I talked about? Where are you getting that information from? Is it from specific from my country, that my government or my association, like health associations or institutions basically approved of it, those kind of information that you are giving accessible? We don't know that, you know. There are a lot of aspects to it, you know, and the way the wording needs to be solved. And there are thousands of, not thousands, sorry, there are a lot of, I will say, cases, at least 5 cases I saw last year, that just from the answers that ChatGPT has given has led to suicides and led to a lot of like this kind of situation. So is now when it is coming down to your health, that ChatGPT is entering into, like I said, is risky. And same is happening in this ad model. Like, you know, people will be thinking that, oh, ChatGPT, whatever that ChatGPT is giving me will be the good, or like I said, objectively your best answer. But it might be the influence under specific ad companies and your political behavior. Like, if it started going with algorithmic, and if it starts going with the what other social media platforms are basically, then it is going to be a not a good look what at a future looks like, because it is going back again down to zero what we are right now. It's like we are not moving up, you know. So there is always, like I talked about even before and now, is that due to ChatGPT, due to these AI chatbots, yeah, we are definitely getting more and more accessible information, access of ease of information, really simplifying information, like building, like uh, having, like, rather than going 10 steps to get a specific information, you are getting that in seconds right now. Or even breaking down complex studies or complex information in down to points, you are definitely getting that. But the price of it is, do you trust that information that is it is giving to you, that is tailored towards specifically to you, is kind of, and like I said, you know, in this case scenario, what we are going into, where there is no transparency, is kind of hard to believe, so we need a lot of uh, data, we need a lot of information. Let's see how it goes, especially in next couple of months, and I'm looking forward to what Google is going to do, so yeah.